Okay, for this week's Healthy Coat training tip, I'm going to demonstrate how I use the Flexion rig that I designed that's made by Classic Equine to help these horses understand what response I'm asking for when we flex these horses laterally and we put a slight amount of pressure on their mouth. The Flexion rig does a number of things, but one of the things that I use it the most for is as a tool to provide a slight amount of pressure to this horse's mouth so this horse can find that release point, okay? So like I use it on colts when I'm starting them before I ever get on them. I'll introduce them to the Flexion rig, to the girt pressure, then I'll let them carry a snaffle bit around, and then I'll lightly snap one rein or the other on the Flexion rig, and I'll adjust it to where when this horse's head is straight, there's just a slight amount of pressure one way or the other. So that when that horse finds that release point right there, that rein is plumb slack, okay? That's how I introduce most of the colts that I start to lateral flexion. Now when this tip is over, what I'm going to do is turn this horse loose, and for the last few seconds of the tip, the last 10 or 15 seconds, I'm going to move this horse around in a circle so you can see it, okay? Anytime you can help this horse to understand what response you're asking for in a way where they're not stressed or getting anxious or getting nervous, just like this here. This filly here come off the track, and when I first got her, she was real pushy in the bridle. So I've used this Flexion rig a lot on her. So anyway, I'm going to do a 3-part series on using this Flexion rig. We're going to do lateral flexion this week. We're going to do vertical flexion next week. And then the following week, I'm going to show you how I use this same piece of equipment on my rope horses that are older and more advanced, but still need softened up at times. So I hope this helps. We'll see you next week. And to end this tip, stay with us for a little bit. I'm going to show you how I'll move this horse around and let that Flexion rig help her soften in the head and neck. You see that slack in the rein as she's loping right there? She's finding that release point. Great piece of equipment. I hope this helps. We'll see you next week.